Have you had it with science? Are you sick of data? Have you soured on the whole thing? Well, that's where we come in. Because, oh, you're going to try to de-sour? Well, listen, you can't just de-sour. You got to sweeten too.
Oh, I'll try. I'll try and de-sour and sweeten.
Well, that's all we ask. We just ask that you try to de-sour and sweeten. So we're looking at the sun in 193 angstroms here. We see the coronal hole, from which we are currently receiving a wind stream. And we've got some elevated solar wind velocity as a result, although we have come off geomagnetic storm conditions. Here are the magnetic lines. Moving on. Next, we'll take a look at the real-time solar wind. We see phi angle is up around 315 right now. Solar wind density 8.49 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed 522, remaining elevated. Next, we'll go to spaceweathernews.com. See no X-ray flares, not a surprise there. We see these big undulations in the magnetometer. That's because of the solar wind stream. And we see the KP went up to 5 there, and now it's back down to 3. Be keeping an eye on that throughout the day today. Here's the Cygnets forecast. Move that so you can see the timestamp. And that's through March 4th. Electron flux is coming back up to a normal level here. We do see some surface charging hazards there around northern South America, Central America. F2 layer is looking fairly normal here. And the auroras are, calming down a bit. Here's the Gong 2 showing you the magnetic environment. Nothing too extravagant going on there. Next, we'll look at geospace magnetosphere movies here. First, the velocity. I see some variations in the solar wind there, as well as some high velocity zones associated with the magnetotail. Here's the density. Dropped down considerably compared to yesterday. And here's the pressure. Lots of high pressure areas there in the magnetosphere. We'll let that play through. And let's go a little closer to home here. Ground magnetic perturbations. We are seeing some significant perturbations here. Keep in mind, these are not measurements of the fields themselves. They are measurements of the change in the fields. That's why it's listed as delta B. Changes in the B field. And here's the global view. We see some significant variation going on here. And we see magnetic pulses all over the place, going from North America down to Hawaii, going from the South Pole up into the Indian Ocean through Australia. Excuse me. We'll let that play through a second time here, because you're getting a good view of both North Poles. One over Canada there, and one over Siberia, as well as the South Pole as it's stretching up there toward the southern Indian Ocean. By the way, for those of you who like our purple brush, In other software failures, the company that makes this software, who we will not mention because we're about to stop using it, has now made the brush a paid feature. So, we'll be switching software. Expect to see a new brush coming soon, and this software to be abandoned entirely. Here's a volcano rundown. Shivaluch with a 13,000-foot ash plume, Mount Ibu, 7,000-foot ash plume, Dacono, 8,000-foot ash plume, Fuego, continuously emitting a thin volcanic cloud, Salvancaya, sporadic emissions to 27,000 feet, and Planchon Petero with a 12,000-foot plume. Today's winner so far, Sabancaya with the largest ash plume. Let's look at earthquakes at quakes.globalincidentmap.com. The 6 and 7 earthquake lull continues. We see a 5 in India, a 4.4 in Japan, a 4.7 in Indonesia, 4.5 in the Solomon Islands. That's not 2, it's just 1, just listed twice. Right in the warning zone. .4 in Perry, Oklahoma. And what do we have there? Colorado with a 3.8. Not one you see every day. There's that. .6 in Argentina, right in the South American warning zone. India with a 4.7, 4.5 in Philippines, 4.7 in Indonesia. And it looks like we got 2 quakes in Iceland. Actually, north of Iceland. Here's a location of those. And that's it. So we are looking for the next coronal hole when we see one. Be looking for a coronal hole connection there. And that will raise the earthquake risk right back to where it was. Not sure how we get back to the normal view here, so let's just move on. With no brush to draw anything. Thanks a lot, software manufacturers. And here's the total electron content forecast. Nothing too special to see there, folks. Moving on to zooniverse.org at the Galaxy Zoo project. One of the largest citizen science projects in the world. You too can classify galaxies. Head to Galaxy Zoo and just do something like this. Pick a galaxy. This is a good one. It's got some spiral arms. It's got some features. Bunch of features. It's not an edge-on disk. It does have a bar. We'll say a strong bar. Is there a spiral arm pattern? You bet. We're going to have a lot of features on this one. Let's see. We're going to say they're medium wrapped. How many spiral arms? Now, that's a good question. Going to say 2. Is there a bulge? Well, you bet there's a bulge. I'd say medium or moderate. Is it merging or disturbed? Yeah, there's a disturbance. Let's say major disturbance. And as far as features, well, there's a lot of features. First of all, there's overlap. We got dust lanes. We got some irregular shape. I don't know about a lens or an arc. And not really a ring. So that was a pretty interesting one. I think I'll save that for posterity. Galaxy Zoo. Just hit done. And there you go. Galaxy classified. This one is up to you. Let's look at some data to figure out if the planet's heating up or not. First of all, we'll look at the sea ice thickness and volume. Well, let's see. The Arctic volume's right in the middle of the range there. Northwest Passage is frozen solid. And there's ice all around Greenland. All right. Let's check some other sites. How about Global Cryosphere Watch? Let's see how much snow's in the Northern Hemisphere. Oh. That much snow, huh? They don't want me to keep it on the screen, folks. Just kidding, it's just bad software. Ha! Anyway, there's the total snow mass for the Northern Hemisphere. And by the way, that blue area, that's the average from 1982 through 2012. I don't know how much you know about how glaciers form, but glaciers form when snow falls on top of more snow and doesn't melt and has more snowfall on top of it and then has more snowfall on top of it and then has more snowfall on top of it. Global warming. Apparently, the planet's so warm that it's cold and snowy. Let's look at some other planet locations at theplanetstoday.com. There's the current state of affairs in the solar system. We do see actually a major conjunction here. Mars, Mercury, Sun, Venus, and Jupiter all practically in a straight line. So let's just advance this 1 week for you so you see what will happen next. And let's move on. New studies show that there's a 99.99999999999999999% chance, or something around there, that humans are causing climate change. Let's just... Well, I'll leave links to the article. You read it. Yeah. Cheers. Let's go to SciTech Daily. New idea helps explain why galaxies have the shapes they do. Oh, all right. Must be using plasma filaments and, ionized dust lanes and magnetic fields and all that sort of stuff, right? Oh. No. Dark matter may scatter against each other only when they hit the right energies, say researchers in Japan, Germany, and Austria in a new study. Their idea helps explain why galaxies from the smallest to the biggest have the shapes they do, because they don't understand the fundamental forces that form our universe. And they're still trying to figure out how dark matter is doing it. This non-existent particle, folks, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out how this non-existent particle works. And then they're going to rot their own brains and try to rot yours with nonsense. How about an article on phys.org? It must be National Climate Change Day. It's National Global Warming Day. Ice-free Arctic summers could happen on earlier side of predictions. Okay. They're showing you sea ice extent here, by the way. We just showed you sea ice volume, because you can't measure the sea ice by only looking at the extent. You got to measure the thickness to figure out how much is there. Anyway, this article is a combination of ignorance and outright lies. Feel free to have a read. We'll leave links. For all you Nibiru, Planet X, Nemesis people out there, here's another phys.org article. More support for Planet 9. Here's some stuff. And yeah, think there could be a Planet 9. I don't believe it because I think we would have seen it, but hey, suggesting it has about a 10,000 year periodicity. We'll leave links to that article too. How about another useless website? You dare me? You think I'll do it? I'll do it. Don't even think for a second I won't, because I'll do it. All right, here we go. Stagnation means decline. All right. Let's see what this one's all about. The uselessweb.site. And okay. Does anybody feel like they're getting rich? Because I sure as hell don't. Well, I've had enough of that. I guess we'll leave links to that too. And how about a nice view of the sun at 171 angstroms? Something bright and magnetically charming. Something not characterized by pathetically written software or pathetically done science. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Make sure you desour and sweeten. And remember, when you're considering deleting all software in the entire universe, don't drink. And if you drink, please don't delete all software in the entire universe. That would be something a supervillain would do, and it would cause problems. Oh, and don't drive.